Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another Devil May Cry 5 discussion breakdown. We're going to be doing an off-the-cuff discussion on the recent V gameplay trailer that IGN dropped. I want people to be aware that IGN is indeed blocking this video, so I decided to do some tinkering in Sony Vegas and mirror the video. So if you see it flipped, you will be seeing my editing in the process, because I don't want IGN to take down this video. So let's begin.
I curse my stars.
Now we start with a couple of familiar shots.
Bit of grief and whoa, that made my love so high.
Now you can tell that V is reading more William Blake from the book that he has. This shot is cool. He's obviously, it seems like the Van Coon, as the dev team calls it, it seems like the Devil May Cry van is being attacked, and V is trying to protect it with Shadow and Griffin. So there you go. Here's the gameplay, the most important meal of the day. You see, Shadow has that sort of long-range attack right there, which is cool. But also, Griffin has this AoE electric barrier that can possibly damage enemies. So there's the cane move, which is similar to Summon Swords. This is where speculation came in about V being directly linked to Virgil. A lot of theories going on about this, because we've only seen Virgil do that sort of circular Summon Swords attack. Now V has it, so something weird is going on with that. And as you can see, let me go back a little bit. Penetrates the enemies, V goes to the ground, and then the enemies take damage. That's how it works. Now, this is weird right here. You see Shadow's like all blistered up like a hedgehog. Not the hedgehog that you're thinking of, but like he looks just like that, and he's attacking enemies in the air. So it seems this is good for aerial enemies. And then V gets on top of Shadow. This is something that you could do in Devil May Cry 1. You can get on top of Shadow and run along the lines of the tendrils. That leads to some awesome kill animations right there. You see Griffin attacking more creatures and V doing more AoE attacks with Shadow. Now, this right here is very interesting. V does this sort of sway, this slide to the left, slide to the right, and it reminds me of Table Hopper. So that might be his sort of defensive maneuver where he's like trying to get out of the way and he's dodging from side to side. You can see Griffin carrying V.
I have no name. I am but 2 days old.
Okay, a lot of interesting stuff happening here. So V does a monologue while there's attacks in the background. He opens the book, and I'm wondering, will the book have more properties in terms of summoning attacks? Will that buff your moves? We don't know how the book works when incorporated into gameplay and V reads off of it, but one can assume that the book does something to your attacks, because he has it open, and then there's gameplay moments where he doesn't have the book open. So I'm wondering what that will be incorporated into when you do combos. But this monologue is interesting, and I'm gonna let you guys hear it. Let me go back a little bit more.
I am but 2 days old. Just kidding. You can call me V.
So he mentions he's but 2 days old. Just kidding, you can call me V. So lots of speculation that you can glean from this. Obviously, if he means, you know, 2 days old, Was he created or something? Was he reincarnated? We don't know yet. Then he says, you know, I'm only kidding. So who knows if he's hiding his origins away from Dante, because one can assume that he's talking to Dante in this very scene and correlate that to all the other scenes where he asked Dante for help. Will that correlate to Dante being deceived? Maybe V's lying to him. He says he's just kidding. Who knows? But one of the main theories going around is a lot of people are saying that maybe V has a handler, a devil handler, and maybe he can't recite his full name, so he decides to use his surname, which is V, something he probably made up on the fly because it was cool. Who knows? But let me go back and see that stab real quick. He has a ground stab that we never seen before. This. So, more finishers.
Did you find it?
Well, I don't know what I found, but I think I saw some demons dancing.
That's cool. A lot of cool stuff here. Obviously, Griffin is looking for something for V. So that's another story element that's being incorporated here that leads to some intrigue, because we don't know what the backstory is for this guy in terms of, you know, exposition. But you can see, oh man, it's amazing how they got this character to work. You see all this destruction. You see the nightmare on screen because he has the hair trigger. That's what I'm calling it now. And you have Griffin attacking people, and Shadow, and Nightmare. So all three summons are into play here, and this does not kill the frame rate. I said this before, but the frame rate is pretty much intact here. Lasers, electric beams, the Panther attacking people is absolutely absurd.
Well, then I guess we keep...
So he has this, if you look at Nightmare specifically, he has like a grounded pound attack that he uses. You see all the rocks and shit like blowing up?
Then I guess...
It's like an air juggle too, because the enemy's like in midair, so that's pretty, it's pretty fast to catch. And then he finishes it off with the cane.
The Devil Sword Sparta is nearby.
So he says something about Sparta being nearby. Hopefully I caught that right. Maybe he's talking about, you know, either the blood relation between Nero being possibly Virgil's son, you know, and Virgil obviously being the son of the legendary Dark Knight as well as Dante.
Sparta is nearby.
So that's cool. And then he has another enemy finisher where he stabs it a few times with the cane, and it's over. Here's the big kaiju battle. A little thing to note is that you can clearly see Griffin shooting some form of projectile during this battle. See it?
Dante.
Now, this is the scene that has everybody talking, especially, you know, the people at IGN, because they made a big deal out of this. But here we have Dante on the ground.
Dante, if only you never existed.
Then I... Don't do it, V. No, no, no!
V tries to kill Dante, but one has to wonder the context, and there's a couple of things that allude to what might happen before, what might happen afterwards. You see, the Demon King, Urizen, obviously this scene takes place after Dante gets defeated. He's covered in blood, he's not moving, so he's pretty much dormant. But the main thing is Dante mentions in one of the gameplay demos when you play as him that he's been taking a long nap. You see what I'm saying here? So I think this scene is a fake out, because in later gameplay demonstrations and from leaks and everything like that, when you see the fight with the you know, the bike demon Cavalieri Angelo, you see Dante carrying Sparta. It's assumed that this is how Dante gets Sparta back. He awakens and he takes it from V, but it makes me wonder, like, what is the context afterwards? Because Dante is just willingly trusting after V almost tried to kill him. It's so weird.
If only you never existed.
And then there's this dialogue where Dante says, well, not Dante, my bad. V says, if only you never existed, then I think this draws some correlation between V and the Sons of Sparta, because obviously Dante did something to affect V's life in some fashion. Maybe it leads to V's creation. We don't know yet. A lot of people are going with the V is Mundus theory, or maybe V is another portion of Virgil who really hated Dante. It's a lot of stuff going on with this split soul theory that's been mentioned in the lyrics for Crimson Cloud, where V supposedly might have a split soul or split personality, and that might be integrated into the character. Because something is mentioned in the lyrics about split in two. But a lot of people are also saying that, you know, V doesn't inherently hate Dante later on. So it's a lot of mysteries going on with that. Either theory could be correct. If he is a reincarnation of Mundus, I would totally be okay with it, because he already summons familiars named Griffin, Shadow, and Nightmare. And also these demons are, you know, apparitions that fought Dante in Devil May Cry 1. So stabbing this guy in the head would be quite a cathartic experience for V. The more I think about it, the more I look into the possibilities, because there's always that notion that V probably wants to kill Dante to get stronger, that V possibly needs to kill more stronger demons to sustain his body. Because remember, the Griffin creature that's talking to V, he says he likes to exist. V also has to fight for his life to exist, so maybe he needs to kill higher demons to get a power upgrade and sustain his body, because he can't sustain his body without bloodlust. He can't sustain his body without the premise of killing demons. So Dante's half demon, half human. Maybe V knows that Dante is still alive after the Urizen attack, and he tries to make a move from there to get stronger. That could also be a possibility as well, if that theory is true, of course. And then brings the sword down, and we saw obviously in the I think it was the Game Awards presentation, Dante's eye opens up. People also noticed that when Dante was falling in the gameplay presentation from the Game Awards with the Devil May Cry 5 footage, Dante's eye was aligned the same way as the intro cutscene in Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening, where Dante is about to get stabbed by Virgil. So maybe that Urizen and Virgil theory could be somewhat correlating there. Who knows? I'm just like spitballing, but that's the end of the trailer. They don't show much at the end. And like I said, the more you find out about this guy, the more you just get intrigued and you want to know more about who the mysterious one is. I will be covering more Devil May Cry footage all the way up until release. If they release more information, I'll talk about it. This is Renegade Operative signing off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and tell me what are your thoughts and theories about the mysterious one V in the comment section below. What do you think about Devil May Cry 5 so far? Have you played the exclusive Xbox One demo that came out, and what is your first impressions on the gameplay? I am really curious to know what the community feels about the Devil May Cry 5 demo. Remember to just tell me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, because man, it hurts being a PS4 user right now. I'm not gonna lie, when you have like the Devil May Cry demo out, that's the only thing I would play the Xbox One for, is that DMC demo. I would do wild, unimaginable things to play the Devil May Cry 5 demo. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Check me out in social media in the description below, and take care of yourselves. Later.